Good morning. Welcome to another Wine Steward video. Thank you so much for watching. And thank you so much to all 110 of you who visited last, well, a couple nights ago, whenever that was. I think it was Wednesday night. Hard to remember every detail of that evening. But God, it was gratifying to see so many of you roaming this store on both floors in search of good wine. And I hope you didn't have to search very hard to find good wine and something that rocked your boat. I think we had nearly 40 things open for you to try, and you could taste at your own rate and hear from very, very nice people behind the tables, sometimes our staff and sometimes our favorite vendors, about what you were trying and where you were trying. I think that's actually the most fun thing about wine, not necessarily what, but where. Every good wine is a trip somewhere, and a much cheaper the trip than a typical plane ticket, right? So that's what's exciting to me about wine in particular. The voyage, the journey, the flight to somewhere halfway around the world sometimes. Anyway, thank you for coming. Thank you for supporting. It was so nice to see so many of you eager to enjoy one of our walk around events once again. So, boom. Now we have another event to tell you about. I do not have a prop. Actually, I do. Right behind me. Boom. See this? This remembers the Tour de France, is plural, of Days Fast. Tours de France, maybe we would say. Anyway, that antique reminds me to tell you about a cycling event coming up. I think it starts on July 4th, but a few days before that, on June 30th, a Tuesday evening, we will have not one but two French guys. We've done this before. Both of these guys are importers, and they've signed a non-compete clause or something. At any rate, they are both small importers, finders of small production wines in France. And Paul and Gregoire will both be here, not fighting, but collaborating to show their respective wares. We'll probably have 6 or 7 wines from each of them, Gregoire and Paul, two guys that have appeared before you in tandem before, if you have attended that particular event. This is for 28 of you, not 110. In other words, we're going to sit you down upstairs. It's RSVP only, and you will have good stemware in front of you and a menu full of really, really cool wine. And most importantly, you don't have to listen to me this time around, but you'll have from the horse's mouth, so to speak, 2 horses, the gospel of France, or French wine, at least. We will be tasting all over France, the Loire Valley, probably some Champagne, certainly some Burgundy. We'll go down to the Rhone Valley of France, who knows where else. But it will be, in fact, a Tour de France in wine form. How about that? With Gregoire and Paul. For 28 of you who sign up in time, you'll go to thewinesteward.com to procure your seat or seats. And we hope to see every lover of French wine and every person curious to know more about that product signing up as soon as they can. Boom. So I've told you about the event. I want to tell you very, very briefly about one wine, just one wine that's appearing on our wine bar menu this week. A wine that already has, it's already dropped into the wine club packs of you White Wine Club members. But this wine is worth talking about over and over and over again. Some of you, not all of you, but many of you have heard of a winery and a vineyard called Pisoni. Pisoni is located as a vineyard. I think it's the highest vineyard in the Santa Lucia Highlands of Monterey County, above the Salinas Valley. It is famous for not inexpensive, but fantastic Pinot Noir. Pisoni is the primary label. And then there's Lucia. And then there's this little gal, Lucy. This is made of Pinot Blanc, Pinot Bianco if you're in Italy, Pinot Blanc if you're in France or over here, excuse me, and Pinot Gris. It is delicious. Minimal winemaking. In other words, we didn't barrel this up. They didn't barrel it up a lot. But Marc Pisoni, who makes that high-end Pinot, also makes this beauty. It is gorgeous white wine that reminds me a little bit of French Chablis. That would be Northern Burgundy white wine. But in fact, we don't have to go that far. The trip is shorter this time to have something just as good and much less expensive than good Chablis is these days. Lucy, Pinot Blanc, and Pinot Gris combined by the great Marc Pisoni from the Santa Lucia Highlands. Yes, this affordable wine has the Santa Lucia Highlands designation on it somewhere. It's in the back. It's somewhere there. But it is truly product from kind of like the high rent district of Monterey County. Delicious white wine. It's on the white flight of the wine bar menu. It's available downstairs, and I am sure you wine club members who have already received it really enjoyed yours. I can't tell you how nice a value this wine is. It's just freaking delicious. Let's tell you about two wines that 100 of you, well, not actually, let me qualify that. We had a little pre-event tasting for a special few of you before the big walk-around tasting. So about a dozen of you got to try this wine, among other things of which we only get a little. This is a label many of you will recognize if you've been attending our Rhône and Châteauneuf-du-Pape events over the year. Domaine de la Charbonnière is the producer of terrific Châteauneuf-du-Pape. You can see that this is Châteauneuf-du-Pape, but can you see the fine print? Can you see that little number there? That is indicating that it's from the 2013 vintage. We just got this wine. 2013, 13-year-old Châteauneuf-du-Pape. Can it still be good? This has, in fact, been sitting under the winery in a very nice, cool cellar for all of these years and just got on a boat and came over here very, very recently. In fact, we only received this wine 2 or 3 days ago. I've spoken for 4 cases. I know that the folks that with whom we had that semi-private tasting the other night probably spoke for some. I hope they did, because once you taste this wine, and once they tasted it, they witnessed something that was still very much alive. In fact, making no apologies for a little bit of development, but smoothness, still brilliant color. That is what a great product aged well will give you. So you need, first of all, to start with the raw material of a wine that's already terrific, producers who know how to do that, and then keep it well. Keep it in a nice, cool, steady, cool temperature for years and years and years, and you will often be rewarded with something this good. Price didn't even go up. This wine is a single vineyard from Domaine de la Charbonnière. It is up a notch from their regular tradition Châteauneuf. This is the Mour de Perdrix, and it is normally about, when it comes out, about $75. Well, this library wine is about $75. In fact, they did not raise the wholesale on us, so we're not gouging you at all. All right, check out this wine. It is beautiful. Get it? Well, we've got it. We, like I said, spoke for 4 cases, and they've just gotten over the pond to us. I want to tell you about one more wine, this beauty. I am dubbing this, deeming it, declaring it, the best rosé I have had this year. We do sell some rosés that cost less. We sell a few rosés that cost more, but I'm identifying this, Si Bonne Tentation, as the finest rosé. It just rings my bell, at least. This is pure Provence rosé, and that is very evasive in flavor, but what it does is give you a gorgeous, silky texture. We have a lot of great rosé downstairs from Provence. This is my favorite one from Provence, not because it's louder in flavor necessarily. It's not. It's just as discreet as any rosé you would expect from there, but the silky, velvety qualities, the palate feel is what makes the difference here. Therefore, my favorite dry rosé of 2026, the 2025 Si Bon. Try it out. We just got a couple cases. I think we can get more. So we invite you to come in, especially as the weather is so nice now. This is finally rosé weather that we're enjoying. And so we should be enjoying rosé on the back patio, all by itself, perhaps nice and chilled, but better yet, try a salade niçoise. Salade niçoise is the classic thing to have, where you've got this big bed of lettuce and you put all kinds of wonderful things on top. Haricots verts, those little string beans, hard-boiled eggs, maybe tiny little potatoes boiled and cut in half maybe, and then what else? The best tuna you can find, and we sell some of that from Spain. Put good tuna on a salade niçoise, not crap tuna. There is a difference. And maybe you could do some black olives or some green olives on there too. There's a lot of interpretations of the salade niçoise, but most often it has that tuna going on, and some eggs, and some potatoes, and the haricot vert. What a great thing to have with a dry rosé like this. I'm digressing. I'm taking too long. getting this video over with. So let's just remind you that on June 30th, we have that event featuring all kinds of really good French wines, including perhaps a dry rosé. And we'll have both Paul and Gregoire, two importers of small producers, representing them to you. You won't have to listen to me. Thank you for listening to me this time around, though. Bye-bye now.